Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we are making a video on the GS. So about a year and a half ago, I made a video talking about the start of my big turbo GS300 build. And that's the only video I ever made about that up until this point. The main reason for that is because a lot of the parts to just rebuild the motor just took a long time to get here because of COVID and things like that. Plus the machine shop with everything being backed up and stuff, everything would have been very choppy. And that's not what I was going for, and that's not what I wanted. So now I'm finally at a spot with the car where I feel like I can kind of start making videos again and kind of start the process of getting this thing up and running and just making a bunch of content with it. So real quick, what is all of this? So this is just the stock VVTi motor that came out of the GS. All the clearances and stuff from the machine shop were good in OEM spec, so I put non-VVTi internals in it because I could handle the power. Still stock head, stock basically everything else. So this is the Drift Motion 67mm turbo kit that they offer. They have the manifold, the turbo of course, oil lines, 4-inch intake. Is a T4 flange housing, so I can change the turbo, but right now I just need something to get the car running, which is my main thing. I do have an intake manifold. It is a front-facing intake manifold from Pro Tuners. I currently have it off because taking care of the wiring harness and some other things that I'll go over in just a second. But as far as what's done for the motor, literally just stock. Like I said, non-VVTi pistons and rods, still stock crank. And yeah, I mean, that should be all I need for my power goals. I'm just shooting for 350 to 400. End goal is 600-700 horsepower, but that's after it gets possibly manual swapped or maybe a built automatic. I haven't fully decided yet, but that'll be way down the road because right now we have a list of things we gotta do. Alright, as you can tell by the clean part of the windshield, we're gonna make a list. One, so that way we can kind of see what we have left to do on the car, and two, so that way I can explain all of the parts that I currently have waiting. That way you guys can see what is gonna get installed on this. Alright, so we got the list all made. We'll start from top to bottom. Just know that the way these are going to get installed, it is not in order. It is just going to get taken care of as it gets taken care of. Starting first, subscribe. Because I mean, next we got our power steering kit. For this car, I have a Chase Bays power steering kit. It gets rid of this power steering reservoir and it gets rid of all of those stock power steering lines because it replaces them with AN lines. I do have some footage of that that'll be in the next video, but that's what we're doing. Well, that's what we have to finish installing because of the front-facing intake manifold. The throttle body hits on it, hits on the stock reservoir. So that's something we can finish up pretty easily and pretty quickly. Next on the list, wiring harness. That entails just, you know, the stock harness, getting everything plugged in, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. That's why the intake manifold is also off. One for the reservoir, the power steering reservoir kit, and also just to do some wiring because like knock sensors and stuff that were underneath I couldn't really get to. Plus I need to take it off for an oil pressure gauge that's gonna go right there. So, well, that's where it's gonna get tapped to. So that can just lead into our next thing, which is gauges. It's down here, but we'll break the rules and skip. So these are my AEM gauges that I'm gonna be installing. It's gonna be a boost gauge, oil pressure gauge, and AFR gauge, along with this gauge pod piece that I bought. It's 3D printed, which is pretty sick. So gonna have to do these three, which isn't gonna be too bad because I mean they all have like their own like little kits and stuff. Alright, so next on the list is our fuel system. So I am redoing the whole thing. The only thing that is staying stock is the tank. I am gonna be running -8 AN lines, and I'm pretty sure my return is gonna be -6. But as far as injectors go, I'm running Fuel Injector Clinic 775 cc's. Sorry, this isn't really focusing, but you get the picture. This is a PHR fuel hanger. It's billet. I only have it for 2 pumps at the moment. You can get them for 3, but I only need 2 because 3 is a lot, especially if you're only shooting for like 700 max. It's a lot. And then I'm running 2 Walbro 400 liter per hour pumps, which should be plenty for me. I still need to buy my fuel pressure regulator and a fuel filter. So once I get those, I can map out my fuel system, buy the line, and then buy the fittings. I'm going to be doing probably black line and black fittings because I like the low-key look a lot better. I don't want anything like, I don't need anything super flashy, so that'll be all nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the fuel system. Intercooler piping. This is a CX Racing intercooler kit. It's not temporary. I already have my eyes set on a different one, but to get the car running and just moving under its own power, I'm gonna use this kit. I have all the piping in here. I'm gonna be using this Aristo MAF sensor if I can, just because it's for a turbo car. I mean, if I gotta use the stock one, oh well. It's not like it's gonna kill me. Reinstall my front-facing intake manifold. I currently have it just chilling in my back seat because, like I was saying earlier, I took it off for my wiring harness and to do my oil pressure gauge and some miscellaneous stuff. So we'll throw that back on once we get everything tidied up. I'm running a 90mm throttle body, so should have plenty of air going into that thing to provide all the power we need for it. Next, we got the ECU and the tune. So I have it separate from the wiring harness just because this is kind of like when things are nearing the end. So I'm gonna be running a Haltech Elite 2500 ECU. Along with that, I'm gonna be running this boom slang harness. I got this idea of running this boom slang from Hurt. I don't know if you guys know Hurt from Hoonigan. He has I guess you could say it's an orange GS300, but he's running the Elite 2500 with this boom slang. And I've seen a bunch of other 2J cars running a Haltech Elite 2500, and I honestly just really like it. I think Haltech also has a really good name to them. So the last thing is just miscellaneous stuff like fluids, coolant hoses. I still got to put the drive shaft in, and then I'm pretty sure there'll be more like little stuff that I got to do, which is why I have that there, just to put little reminders if I need to. But yeah, I mean, honestly, all in all, there's not a whole lot left, but there is, you know what I mean? With the whole next video, I want it to be just getting this list taken care of. I want the whole next video with the GS to just be knocking out this whole list. I want to do all of this in one big video just because I don't want to do a bunch of different segments. I don't want to make it like a how-to for each like individual thing. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for, like I said, all like the little things. I still gotta buy my fuel system stuff like what I was talking about earlier. I do need to get an exhaust made. I only have a downpipe. It is gonna be a V-banded downpipe, so I can at least start the car with that, but to drive it around, I'm gonna need to get something made. So we'll figure that out down the road. That's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys are interested in this build, please subscribe. That'd be awesome to have a bunch of people come back and just see the build progress. Especially whenever the first start video drops. It's gonna be an awesome day. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.